Hi everyone, this video we're going to be installing Isaac Sim 5.0 from source. This is not a rehearsed video, I have not done this before, we're going to be doing this live and seeing how it goes. For context, I am on a laptop computer with running Ubuntu 24.04 and we have a 4060 GPU, as we can see. Yeah, right there, we're also on driver version 550. So the reason I bring that up is so that, other people who are on similar laptops and whatnot, or you can just get an idea of how this might transfer to your case. And we're also going to have to maybe do some special stuff here about getting the correct GCC versions, and we'll see how that goes. We also are technically below the required GPUs as well, but I think we were below the required GPUs maybe on 4.5, and that worked fine. So let's see how this goes. All right. So instructions. I guess this is it. Clone, we do LFS, and then we build. And let's see what version of GCC we have. Alright, we're on GCC 13, so we'll see how that goes. Do I have any others? Oh, I might actually have 12. Is that what it says it needs? Or does it need 11? It needs 11. Can I just do that? Does that just work? Well, it appears it might. How do I actually execute the old versions of GCC? Is it just GCC 11 on the command line? Oh yeah, GCC 12. Okay. And then we can set environment variables, I guess, to make it use that. So GCC 11. Alright. Well, that was easy. Yeah, we'll start from here. Get clone. And so what command will we be running? This build.sh. Let's see what's going on in there while we wait for this to come down. Alright, so we source this repo.sh and then run this build command. It's repo man. Oh, we've got this. We'll come back to that. So open it up in VS Code and we'll work from there. I already have git LFS, I don't need to install that. Well, that seemed like it didn't do much. So I think we need to do cc equals gcc 11, cxx equals gcc g++ dash 11. Is that what we need? GCC. Okay, we need that too. So we'll set these GCC CC equals GCC 11, CXX equals G++ dash 11. Yes. Alright, fingers crossed. I was watching the NVIDIA Omniverse live streams that they do each week, and they said the build could take like 10 minutes, I think. They showed it running really fast, but they'd cached it. And yeah, it seemed like they just were running the build.sh and it just worked. So I would be unsurprised if it just worked here as well. I want to see what this Reaper Man thing is. Not that. Multi-repository source code. But aren't we only working with one repository? Maybe they pull in a bunch of other things. More JavaScript as well. Interesting. Alright, let's see if we can follow what the build command is doing. So we'll go from the top again. We go build sh, accept the EULA, and then we source this repo.sh and run this build thing with, we can pass it, and it passes through any arguments, is what the @ symbol does. So we should understand repo.sh. So EULA again. We got this Omni repo. And it looks at the first argument. We have this repo cache. So it seems that sourcing this just, we run Python, and then we run this repo.man.py script. Let's go find this python.sh. Anything special here? PM Python? What is PM Python? PM. We keep talking about PM here. Alright, so some Python set up with some, Python paths and whatnot set. Okay. I've seen Pac-Man before. I think those are building like cloud containers or something. Around structure and dynamics, this is not it. Client-side package manager? Not it. Okay. This feels like it might be it. It mentions apt and building things. Pac-Man creates packages. What kind of packages? All packages? What would the quick start get us to do? Okay. I guess you'd have to look at what's in the examples. Alright, let's just ignore that for now. repo.sh build. Let's not lose sight of what we're following. Python repo_man. So if we execute repo_man.py, what would that do for us? It runs this bootstrap command where we pull in. So there'll be a file here. Okay, I guess we need to go look in this pacman.xml because it seems like it. Yeah, I don't like this. Yeah. I get uncomfortable whenever I see sys.path.append because that's how they insert modules into the Python runtime without using the normal import machinery, and that breaks things like your IDE and static analysis. Alright, so we got this pacman API, and we pull down all of the deps, and then we go through all of the deps, and we append them to our sys.path, so that makes everything available inside Python. And that's... So this pacman.xml, is that going to be like a requirements.txt then? Not repo deps.pacman. So there's all sorts of these things. Oh, okay. This got these includes. It seems maybe here on this underscore repo folder, maybe somewhere. Dot slash underscore repo slash repo man. Can I find these? Repo build. Where are these things? Deps? See, I'd expect to find them in here. We got these different pip things here. These yeah, okay. Different things that we need. Oh, here we go. These are those things. I'm not sure if I want this new environment as my workspace yet. I'll just close that for now. That's really new. Let's just have a look at this pacman API. Didn't I say pacman was all JavaScript? But there's this Python API. Nope, again, wrong pacman. repo_man is JavaScript. So there's repo_man versus pacman. Is repo_man an NVIDIA tool? Oh wow, there's a lot going on here. Let's start from the top. It's a framework for building and running command line tools for code repositories. Main goal is to try and provide one single entry point for any repository. Repo. User clones any repository and runs a single command, repo.bat or repo.sh on Linux. RepoMan bootstraps itself. Users do not need to install anything, and lists all available tools with a description. Example of repo output. Okay. Just like build tool, downloading, script runner, like task runner. Okay. Another important goal of RepoMan is to provide a common configuration system for all repos. Each repo has repo.toml in the root. Is that what we were looking at? Yeah, no, these are deps. So is there a repo.toml here? Yeah, and it's in the root. Let's get some toml highlighting. Oh, it's always hard to know which toml one is the one to use. I guess it's, yeah, that one. Alright, readable. This is really big. Yeah, I'm seeing all these familiar Isaac Sim things that we would import. It's interesting. Why are some things in here special? Like, I understand simulation app because it's kind of the entry point of a lot of things, and omni.isaac.kit. But then, why does this Lula robot motion and this asset exporter get listed here? There's lots of other asset exporters and importers, but why only the URDF exporter is mentioned here? Something I'm not quite sure of. And it's mentioning VS Code here. So is this to give nice VS Code type hinting? Oh, is that what's going on? So is it building me when it said it found another environment? Is it making like a .vs code folder with settings in it so that when you open up the project, yeah, here. But that's already in here. Just how to use all the C++ stuff, still in C++14. That's super useful. Yep, Python CVB tools, makes sense. Go to launch.json. Yeah, all super handy stuff. Yeah, and it's launching all of this out of the underscore build folder. So that really does seem to be the output. Yeah. And tasks, yeah, we can build from here. Oh, so we could build through VS Code. I didn't realize this was here. I still like doing it just through there. It's a little nicer. So if I were to build through here, I would run the build.sh. Oh yeah, and this is just for finding problems in there. And if we're on Windows, we do that. Yeah, that makes sense. And set up Python env. Yeah. Yeah, all of this stuff. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's understandable. But where does... Yeah, where does this go? Like, in the repo.toml, when you've got a VS Code entry, what does that mean? Because it really feels like it should be outputting VS Code settings that you can then import. Maybe we're just not up to doing that yet. Hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, do we get all of these USD tools in here? Scripts? Oh, it seems like we might. Yeah, those are useful. Especially USD view. This is really useful. Okay, if we get this, that's nice. Because I'm used to installing these separately. And USD edit as well. Because you can use this if you've got a USD file and you want to view the text of it, you don't have to explicitly convert it to a USD ASCII file. You can just go USD edit and it'll kind of do that in the background and open up, for example, Vim, if that's what you've got set as your editor, viewing the USDA file. So that's nice for debugging things without having to open them up inside like IsaacSim or something, or if they're not opening up in IsaacSim, you can see like what's going wrong, that kind of thing. Downloading PyTorch, that always takes a while. What Python version do you think this is running us? Well, if we look at the TOML, we should see it. Okay, we're up to 3.11. I believe the old IsaacSim was on Python 3.10, so it's nice to get a bit of an upgrade there. We can have a look. Yeah, they were down on 3.10, so nice to get that bumped. Let's keep reading about Repo Man. And we'll make sure we're still recording. Yeah. So if you run repo build, which is what we're doing through a few layers of indirection, repo tools.toml. Yeah. Single entry point for all repos greatly improves discoverability and new user experience. Not the only motivation. Code reuse, tooling, and scripts. It's a weird sentence. Writing more Python is always preferred over adding configs, and then it says code quickly becomes messy, hard to read, and non-reusable. So are they saying like configs are better, but Python is preferred? And so this tool helps you write more configs as opposed to more Python? Yeah. Copying tooling. Yeah, one diverges. Any config system. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So they noticed they were doing the same thing across all of the projects and decided to factor that logic into one tool that can be shared. Makes sense, makes sense. And then they go through like an example one. I think we can go through our example one maybe. So from the top, we have import configs. And so Wait, we've got like a nested. We've got multiple repo.tomls in here. So we're pulling in the kit template one. And there seems to be one. Oh, but that underscore repo gets pulled in. So we're pulling in, we've got nested repos in here, it seems. So we found repo kit tools. And then that has its own repo kit tools, kit template, repo.toml. So we have to use those to install the things we depend on as well. So you can nest these repos, that's cool. Post build commands. Here we go. So maybe we do this build, and then we can run like repo generate VS Code settings, and that'll use these things to generate that, the .VS Code things. That makes sense. Edit sysconfig and USD. Not sure what those would do yet. And that shell extension will be like repo.sh or repo.bat. Some Visual Studio specific things. Alright, extension precacher. Yeah, again, like these 6 extensions. Why are they here and why not other extensions? Because there's lots of them. Lots and lots and lots of them. Are these just special ones that we always use? Because, USD core seems pretty important. Why are we talking about robot schemas in here? What does that have to do with that build system? So this is this the Isaac sim? Oops. Like this is exactly where Isaac sim is going to get built for? Or is it saying bring this thing down? Build, platform, Linux x86, config. What's config? What do we see in Isaac sim in here? Oh, come on, compile commands look like, well, massive. Yeah, it's not calling GCC 11 specifically, so I think a good thing we set that as the compiler. But yeah, we got a lot of things in here. We always LD preload libcarb. We got some hard-coded ROS2 bridge things. And what's RMW? RMW has accent. RMW node. Read. Might be a Rust 2 thing. Robot middleware. Yeah. Yeah, putting a lot of Rust specific things in here. And what's carve again? Something like everything else is built on, from what I kind of remember. Carbonite. Is Carbonite a settings format? SDK, core functionality of all Omniverse apps. Okay. Seems a little bit like a standard library, maybe? Kind of things that you'd want. Yeah, input handling. Yeah, standard library gives you cross-platform. These things play nicely together, and some ISACSIM specific like plugin and asset loading things. Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, so that makes sense that's there. And I guess so why is this the only shared object that we're putting in the LD preload? Why is that special? Is everything else statically linked? And this is like the only platform dependent thing, so we dynamically link it? Not sure. Report. Okay, so these seem to be for tests. Exclude LiDAR tests or failing to resolve. Okay, not included in Windows. You can do everything but not test the LiDAR in Windows or run the LiDAR in Windows maybe. Interesting. Yeah, let's have a look at the tests. Test route. Tests. Yeah, where does it get this test route? Yeah, a lot of these things I'm not really sure where they get these variables from. Is it just set at the top? Hmm. Seems not to be the case. Is the rest of this just testing? That's what that seemed like. Yeah, again, we see this URDF exporter set specifically, but not any of the other importers and exporters. Why? Why? Is that because it's not part of ISAC, and all of the other ones are part of ISAC except this URDF exporter? That seems interesting, because of all the things for URDFs to be associated with, you'd think it would be ISAC. I don't know. Maybe it's got some special way of being built that requires it to be like this. Yeah, there it is again. Yeah, here. Excluded. These extensions are excluded as they do not contain any documentation. They do not contain any documentation. That is an upsetting statement. So this is being excluded from what? We'll see. Doesn't say what it's used for in here. Okay, we are back. It seems like we've gotten some kind of error, which is super annoying because I feel like we'll have no way of fixing this. I see things about Ross. I don't want Ross. Can I... Is there something... Error limit? Mathcalls.h. Nothing. What's going on? What is going on? Seems like it's not actually to do with Ross, maybe? What can Google tell us? And we did build this with the correct... Yeah. Maybe they didn't use that? Oh, maybe my CUDA version or something is not playing well with the GCC version. So what, we're running like GCC 11, but our NVCC is too new. What does it say in the README about our NVCC? But from what I understand, NVCC is kind of like a layer on top of GCC. So I feel like if I specify what GCC to use, it will use my whatchamacallit. Yeah, it should use the GCC 11. So when they README, not that README. Let's close all of these. README. Yeah, so it doesn't actually tell update alternatives. I just completely ignored that. I feel like that might just make it work. Yeah, we can copy this. Yeah, my bad for not reading documentation. So that means I shouldn't have to set those environment variables. And this should run faster than the previous one because we have things cached and downloaded, etc. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so now we're doing our compilations. I'll be back when this finishes. Yeah, there we go. Alright, that took only a minute. That's great. So, what exactly do we have now? I believe it's put everything into this build folder. So how do I run it? Can I use that Reaper command? And that will tell me things? Yeah, it seems like it. It just sets up where all the paths should be, and then runs Reaper Man, and if I run that without a passing arguments, it'll give me some help, potentially. So looking for some things. There we go. Great. These tools, none of them seem to tell us exactly how to run Isaac. These more seem tools for building it, which makes sense. Let's have a look through the build folder. Let's see what we got generated. Alright, we got some like headers with version information. Host steps. We got seems where our Python executable is. Though that might be our Python executable for the bootstrapping process, not the output. Intermediate. We'll ignore that. It's probably all under. Yeah, we didn't build that. It's probably all under this, right? And then if we. Did we get a debug and a release? Alright. How does the debug work? It seems like there's less things in here. Unless these are different wrappers that'll execute the release things, but with. Oh, that's cool. You can do no ROS and. Yeah, that's good to know. Not exactly sure what the script there is, but yeah, we'll ignore that because it seems like all of the good things are in release. So we've got our familiar python.sh. Looks similar to how I remember it. And now isaacsim.sh. And let's see if this works. cd build linux x86 release /isaacsim.sh. That's very promising. Mm-hmm. It's going to be trying to do ROS things. And I don't have ROS installed, so I'm not sure if it's going to have internal ROS things or. Cannot load. Alright. Seems like it's fine. Still not responding. This is probably doing normal Isaac Sim booting things. Where it needs to download a lot of things. Yeah, I think that's what's going on down here. Or like pre-computing, or like caching shaders, that sort of thing. Alright, this could be a while. I will pause the recording and we'll get back when this is done. And we're back. That did not take very long at all. It was only another, let's say, 30 seconds or so, and we're done. And it looks like it's all usable. We can rotate the viewport. We can create a cube. Yeah, this is feeling. Yeah, Isaac is back. Alright. Move the cube around. It's looking good. Let's see, what's going on with our content? These are things that are. It's got some kind of lock symbol. And it's got AWS URLs here. Failed to find item. Yeah. But we can still go into it. Yeah. Okay, interesting. Not sure what's going on there. Maybe there's something in the terminal. But yeah, it's just failing to find it. Might have to do with this Omniverse Isaacson staging. We were supposed to have some kind of AWS token or something like that. So good. Let's see if we can import things from our own computer. And Chris. And we will go to robots. And wait, there's ABB. That's a folder. I don't know why there's a thumbnail in the folder. Hey, not bad. Not bad at all. See what the URDF importing looks like. Convert to USD. Oh yeah. Yeah, looks the exact same. It's fine. There's not bugs in this URDF importing from what I remember. It occasionally crashed when I do imports, but it wasn't like, oh, I have to avoid certain options and stuff here, so it makes sense that it looks the same. Let's see, can I still tab through these fields? Like if I'm in here and I set that to a value, tab, 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 does it scroll down? No, it goes the way to the top, even though there's another field at the bottom there. It's funny. And let's see if this works. We'll just create it in the stage, yeah. Oh, I guess we already had that robot, so we shouldn't expect it to look any different. Yeah, okay, we got two now. Let's bring in another robot. Yeah. Yeah, it's looking great. Let's have a look at what the physics inspector would look like. Things are a little nested weirdly here. We use this one. Tools. Physics inspector. That. Okay, everything's looking the same so far. So I assume visuals and whatnot are the same and features are the same for most things, which is good. And hopefully that just means bugs are fixed and we've got some new features. It's nice that not everything's changing under our feet just for the sake of it. Alright, that looks great. Physics inspector works, we can import robots, we can make cubes. Yeah, Isaac Sim 5 seems good to go from first glances. Alright. Thank you everybody for watching. This has been getting Isaac Sim set up from source on Ubuntu 24 with a 4060 GPU. Everything runs just fine, just as good as running with Isaac Sim 4.5. We could build it. We had one issue, but that was purely because we did not read the documentation correctly. And we also got a chance to go through and read a bunch of the source code and learn about Repo Man and how the Isaac Sim starting up works. Thank you for watching.